Welcome to the Homeownership Podcast presented by Momentum Realty, located in Hanover, Massachusetts. This series covers all things real estate and the best practices for buying, selling, and owning properties. Now here's your host, Sean Maloney.
Welcome to episode 197, 3 weekend projects with high ROI. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. Thanks for joining me this week. This week I want to talk to you about what are the projects you can do around your house that'll get you a great ROI, otherwise known as our favorite words, return on investment, which means when you spend money, you'll get more of that money back than you spent on it, otherwise known as return on investment. Remember, the words cost and expense go for things like trips and handbags and different things, whereas the words investment go for stocks, bonds, and projects that elevate the level of value of your home. So remember, you can invest many different ways. Lots of people say, I've got extra money, I want to invest in the stock market. What about looking in the mirror and looking at yourself and investing in yourself? New books, new ways to learn. Also your home, new ways to improve, new ways to spend your time instead of watching that television, earning money, whether we call it sweat equity or we just call it return on investment. Earning that money while you're there already. So first off, let's start off with cleaning the exterior of your home can give it a real facelift. Whether it be a quick rinse or a gentle chemical wash, it's sure to liven the property up. Remember, you want to make sure whether you have vinyl siding and you can pressure wash, or you have shakes and you need to use a chemical wash, that you wash the home correctly, but doing so can massively improve a home as far as the overall look. If you have the shakes, you might want to treat them after with a clear coat. Again, I'm saying follow all the regular policies. You're going to have to look a little further into it. Can't go over every single detail in one short podcast, but washing the exterior home, that includes starting at the top and finishing at the bottom. So if your roof is looking bad, maybe you get some of the stuff over at your big box store like Wet and Forget. That's a brand, but any of them work where you spray it on the roof and it helps clean the roof off. Clean your gutters, possibly bleach or wash the gutters themselves, the downspouts as well. Go back and clean your entire home down. Take off your screens, rinse those out, clean the windows. Oh my God, what a difference. Almost every single buyer that goes into a house ends up looking through the windows, and it's amazing to me how many ratty, dirty, old-looking windows there are when they're not old. Notice I said the words old-looking. When you simply clean things and you take care of them, they give a presentation of being newer. Not just cleaner, but actually physically newer, which insinuates to the human brain higher value. Remember, you're trying to sell this thing. I know oftentimes people, when they get to the line where they want to sell their home, they've basically given up on the home. It's no longer their home. It's back to being a house. They don't have that personality of seeing their future there. They see their future somewhere else. They look at their efforts, they look at their money as time and energy wasted. Now, I'm not telling you to just go out and do everything, and that's why I know you understand. You're over here watching or listening to this podcast, so you understand that educating yourself is going to help you grow. But remember, if you're ever questioning yourself, reach out to us over here at Momentum Realty. We can set you up with one of our Move Mentors, which is what we call our real estate agents. The reason we call them that is we believe they're both a mentor and a guide in the process of buying, selling, and owning homes. So when it comes time to doing these projects, reaching out to a professional like that, they can tell you, hey, this one's going to get an ROI, or hey, I don't think I'd quite go that fancy with it because if you do move in the future, I know you're not moving now, but you may never be able to recuperate your investment into that home. So it's very important to work with the right people. Let's move on to project number 2. Project number 2 shocks me. When I grew up, everyone did this project. They always did it themselves, and maybe larger projects they might call someone in, but painting an interior room is a great weekend project. Make sure to buy all the right tools, brushes, tapes, all that thing, and do the right job. Take your time, do a professional job. But with tape, with the right brushes, with the right paints, you should be able to do a great job on painting a room, which completely changes the entire room's feel, look, and ultimately the value of the home, because a fresh paint job just has a way of looking brand new, and people like brand new things, especially when there's no stains, there's no scratches, there's no pinholes, there's no nothing, and it's a modern color that wasn't chosen by you for you. It's a modern color that was chosen by you based on what was popular in design books because you're thinking about selling the place. Now, if you're painting it for yourself and it's going to be a while, or maybe you're not selling the home in the future at all, paint it whatever color you feel like. But remember that if you go too wild and you're trying to sell on the market for the most money possible, then you may end up having to paint that room again in the future. Using excuses like, well, I'm not a good painter, all these things, that's just you letting yourself down. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, if I actually take my time, can I paint a room? And for some of you, I understand. You may not have the physical abilities, and it is great that there's professional painters, but for the majority of you, no matter your condition, you can at least do some of your painting and save a lot of money and get a great return on investment on a weekend project for maybe less than $100, $200, completely transform an entire room. Last but not least, the third, the most important, the one that I see missed all the time, the easiest, the one that costs the least amount of money, takes the most amount of time, but that said, it does the least cost versus most return of any of the projects I've mentioned today. That would be a deep fall cleanup of the yard and outbuildings. Really makes a property shine, including trim the shrubs, edge the beds, organize the sheds, trim the grass, rake the leaves, and so much more. Guys, if you have a tarp out there, fold it up. If you have kids' toys, organize them, get rid of them. If you have a swing set, paint it, clean it up, get rid of it. You have an old dilapidated pool, fill it in or get rid of it. These little teeny tiny projects around the home add up. Imagine pulling up to a house and the bushes are overgrown. Then you notice that the leaves are everywhere. Then you notice the beds are full of weeds. Then you notice that around the pool area hasn't been cleaned up. And then you look around and you just say to yourself, if they care so little about the outside, what's the inside gonna look like? Now, I'd be lying to you to say that it always matches, because I've gone in plenty of properties that have terrible outsides that have beautiful insides. But that said, when we're selling a house, they always call it curb appeal, right? It's what you can see from outside. Some people are so shallow and so simple that they judge things by its cover. We've all seen it done, right? We see it all the time in public. People judge people by their looks, by where they're from, by all these different things that they shouldn't be. If you think they're not judging your home, then you're being crazy and you're overlooking a major detail. Exteriors count, and it's so easy to do. Like I said, how much money does it cost to rake your leaves, mow your lawn, edge your beds, weed the beds, trim the hedges? Most all of us have the tools already at home to do these things, so short of that investment, which would be less than $200, what does it really cost other than your time and putting the television down or putting down something like your cell phone that's entertaining you and really taking advantage of the full sweat equity of taking care of the exterior of your home? Guys, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I can tell already that you want to sell your home for the most money possible when it comes time for the opportunity. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Tell all your friends and family about it. And if you ever want to send in different ideas for episodes, feel free to email me, DM me, PM me, Sean@movementumrealty.com, and I'd be happy to throw in an episode just for you. Thanks again and have a great weekend.